You're telling me this might be a Jokic move?
It's not just that Westbrook wants to come to Denver. It's that Nikola Jokic, I'm told, wants him here.
Yeah.
And that gives me a little more belief.
Obviously, a guy like that, it just kind of turns the volume up. Spinal Tap to 11. It's great.
Nikola Jokic has always been a no-nonsense player. He shows up, delivers MVP-level performances, and then goes back to his horses. He's never been involved in front office decisions. Yet, in July, something unusual happened. Jokic made a rare request for a player. Out of all the talent he could have chosen, he asked for Russell Westbrook. Yes, the same Westbrook many critics had written off. Even on media day, Jokic continued to sing the 36-year-old's praises.
I mean, of course, we didn't have a good relationship on the court. We were fighting a lot and talking back and forth, but I know who he is a little bit outside of the court. So great teammate, vocal leadership, the guy who want to listen, the guy who want to follow in the gym. So I think he's a great player for us, and I think he's going to bring us all the good stuff.
After 9 wins and glimpses of the old dangerous Russ, it's becoming clear why Jokic pushed for Westbrook. Coach Michael Malone summoned it up best.
Obviously, a guy like that, it just kind of turns the volume up. Spinal Tap to 11. It's great.
But still, you have to wonder, how can Westbrook possibly make up for the loss of someone like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Denver's most reliable shooter? This also brings up another question. Why does Russell Westbrook face so much hate? This is the same guy who gave us one of the greatest basketball memes ever. The clip is undeniably hilarious.
Did you guys lose this game or did the Jazz win this one?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? Bro, I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping.
And perhaps explains why someone like Jokic would gravitate towards Russ. But, humour aside, the disrespect Westbrook receives is baffling. This is a former MVP and the undisputed king of triple-doubles. In fact, the only player with a realistic chance of surpassing his triple-double record is none other than Jokic himself. However, age hasn't been kind with Westbrook. His speed has diminished, his three-point shooting has plummeted below 30%, and teams have struggled to accommodate his ball-dominant style. Critics have been quick to label him as washed, unplayable, and incompatible with modern basketball. His turbulent stint with the Lakers, where he was unfairly scapegoated, only fueled these doubts. Even a brief resurgence with the Clippers wasn't enough to silence the naysayers. Many believed Westbrook's career was nearing its end. Then came Nikola Jokic, advocating for Denver to sign him. That endorsement changed everything. Suddenly, people began to believe again.
You're telling me this might be a Jokic move?
It's not just that Westbrook wants to come to Denver. It's that Nikola Jokic, I'm told, wants him here.
Yeah.
And that gives me a little more belief.
It's clear that Jokic saw something others didn't. He genuinely believed Denver's system could reignite Westbrook's career. But could it? Over the years, the Nuggets have relied heavily on Jokic and Jamal Murray and Caldwell-Pope, stretching the floor as their primary three-point threat. After trading Pope, it seemed obvious that Denver needed another shooter to fill that void. In fact, following the loss of OKC, Jokic himself lamented the lack of consistent shooting.
Actually, we were not there. Neither team didn't shoot the ball really well.
On paper, Westbrook doesn't seem like the answer. With a career three-point shooting average of just 30.5%, he's hardly the sharp shooter Denver needed. At 36, his declining athleticism also limits his ability to dominate games like he used to. Defenders often sag off him, daring him to shoot, and his ball-dominant style raised concerns about disrupting Denver's fluid, team-orientated offense. But surprisingly, none of these issues have materialized. What Westbrook lacks in shooting, he more than makes up for with his relentless leadership and intensity. He's a tireless competitor who leaves everything on the court, an invaluable quality for the team. The Nuggets have found a way to capitalize on everything Russell Westbrook brings to the table. His energy and intensity aren't just admirable, they're contagious.
That's every day, and that's what you admire and respect about it, Vic, because that's just how he's wired. And I love it, man. Those are the intangibles, and he pushed his guys in front of him. He pushes his guys on his team, the team he's competing against.
Those intangibles are priceless. Westbrook's pace and passion have undeniably brought a spark to Denver, reshaping the team dynamic in ways no one fully anticipated. When he first arrived, the biggest question was whether he could minimize his weaknesses and lean into his strengths. So far, the answer has been a resonating yes. Offensively, Westbrook has displayed flashes of synergy with Jokic, averaging 18 points and 6 assists on 50% shooting when they share the court. At the time of this writing, the Nuggets are undefeated when Westbrook dishes out 10 or more assists in a game. Perhaps the most surprising stat is his 3-point percentage, which has been higher than Klay Thompson's so far this season. This isn't just a fluke. It shows that when Russ plays in rhythm and within the system, he can adapt his game to both his age and the demands of modern basketball. But where Westbrook has truly stood out is on the defensive end. He's been making clutch plays and key stops, proving that his commitment to the team extends beyond scoring. What's undeniable is the way Nikola Jokic has helped unlock Westbrook's potential in Denver. Jokic's incredible court vision allows him to anticipate Westbrook's cuts, setting him up for easy in-rhythm buckets. In return, Russ has embraced Jokic's unselfish style of basketball, contributing in ways that go beyond the stat sheet. Whether it's initiating fast breaks or locking down defensively, Westbrook has fully bought into Denver's system. But will this be enough to change his narrative? Westbrook's career has been a roller coaster since his MVP season in 2017. After bouncing between 5 teams in just 4 years and enduring a reputation hit during his time with the Lakers, many doubted if he had anything left in the tank. Interestingly, NBA legend Oscar Robertson predicted much of what Russell Westbrook has faced. Robertson once shared a private conversation with Russ.
We're in a room by ourselves talking. I said, I'm happy for you, but man, I said, they're going to turn on you.
Wow, you told him that?
Yeah.
I remember seeing him in the locker room. When Russell walked in, he was in the locker room waiting on him. I seen that. Yeah.
I said, they're going to turn on you because they're going to expect you to do this every night.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you do it and you don't win, they're going to blame you.
Despite all the criticism surrounding Westbrook, Nikola Jokic saw something others missed. Jokic recognized a player who still had the drive and skills to contribute at the highest level. Westbrook's revenge game against the Lakers highlighted exactly why Jokic pushed for him. On key plays, Jokic's court vision didn't just give Russ confidence, it created so much space that Russ didn't have to force contested shots. Instead, he thrived in situations tailored to his strengths. But can this duo take the Nuggets all the way to another championship? Westbrook's arrival hasn't just added energy to Denver's rotation, it's proven he can still make a significant impact when paired with an unselfish star like Jokic.
Traits that you
I think it's honestly, I don't think it's a comparison. I think he's, as we all know, he sits in a kind of category of his own. He's so unique in the sense of he's so unselfish, and he loves to be able to make the game easy for his teammates, and he's done that. And
Westbrook's speed and court awareness have complemented Jokic's ability to pick apart defenses. Russ has excelled as a cutter and secondary playmaker, with Jokic consistently rewarding his energy with precision passes. This synergy has been critical for maintaining Denver's offensive efficiency, especially with injuries to key players like Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon. Westbrook's improved shot selection and the open looks Jokic creates have also contributed to his increased consistency. Add to that his defensive resurgence, highlighted by critical plays where he's outmaneuvered opponents, and it's clear Russ still has the ability to make game-changing plays on both ends of the floor. However, the real test lies ahead. When Jamal Murray returns to the lineup, Westbrook will likely shift into a reduced role, primarily anchoring the second unit. The challenge for Russ will be maintaining his rhythm and effectiveness with fewer minutes, something that has been a struggle in the past. Bringing Russell Westbrook to Denver wasn't just a basketball decision, it was about giving a misunderstood star a chance at redemption. Jokic's influence is evident in Westbrook's revitalization, and the early results prove this partnership is anything but accidental. Jokic saw both the risks and the potential rewards, and his reasoning was simple. Westbrook's pace, energy, and relentless competitive fire could address gaps left by the departures of key contributors like Bruce Brown and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. However, one issue still looms: the need for a reliable shooter. And when Jamal Murray returns, Westbrook's ability to maintain this form and rhythm in a likely reduced role will be critical. If Russ continues to fully embrace the system though, the Nuggets could boast one of the most dynamic rotations in the league. With Jokic's trust and Denver's established winning culture, there's every reason to believe Westbrook can thrive in this adjusted role. This season could become a defining chapter in his career, not just as a superstar, but as a player who evolved, adapted, and proved he still belongs at the highest level.
Anyway, Time magazine also chose WNBA superstar Caitlin Clark as their athlete of the year. Okay, here's the problem. A lot of conservatives are having a fit over her interview, and here's what they're so mad about. Watch.
It's a story that has shaken the WNBA to its core. Caitlin Clark, named Time magazine's Athlete of the Year and widely celebrated for her incredible rookie season, just made comments that have sparked debates far beyond basketball. Her acknowledgement of race and privilege within the league has left fans divided, players reflecting, and commentators like Stephen A. Smith passionately defending her stance.
The Indiana Fever star was named Time magazine's Athlete of the Year earlier this week, and she took time to acknowledge that race played a role in her success this year. Here's a passage from the article in Times magazine, quote, "I want to say I've earned every single thing, but as a white person, there is privilege. A lot of those players in the league that have been really good have been black players. This league has been built on them. The more we can appreciate that, highlight that, talk about that, I think it's very important. I have to continue to try to change that. The more we can elevate black women, that's going to be a beautiful thing," end quote. You see why I had no problem with her being Time's Athlete of the Year? You see why I said that she should have been on Team USA? You see why I had to go off on the likes of Cheryl Swoops and others who were clearly distant and dismissive of her?
But here's the kicker. Those comments might redefine how the league sees itself and its future. Stay with us, because by the end of this video, we'll reveal the shocking truth about what's happening behind the scenes and how Caitlin Clark's actions are forcing everyone to reevaluate their perspectives. Caitlin Clark's rise in the WNBA has been nothing short of meteoric. Coming off a historic college career at Iowa, she entered the league as the most anticipated rookie in years. But the buzz around Clark wasn't just about her stats, it was about what she represented. For decades, the WNBA has been a league largely driven by black women. Legends like Lisa Leslie, Cheryl Swoops, and Tamika Catchings built its foundation. However, Clark's arrival brought an entirely new level of attention, fanfare, and most importantly, financial investment. In her first few weeks, the Indiana Fever saw ticket sales skyrocket. Games were moved to primetime slots on ESPN and ABC. Even longtime fans had to admit Clark's presence was making waves. Therefore, when she said in her Time magazine interview that she was aware of her white privilege and how it had played a role in her success, it struck a chord with many.
Into the WNBA, like I've said, I feel like I've earned every single thing that's happened to me over the course of my career. But also, I grew up a fan of this league from a very young age. Like, my favorite player was Maya Moore. Like, I know what this league was about. And like I said, like, it's only been around 25 plus years. So I know there's been so many amazing black women that have been in this league, and continuing to uplift them, I think, is very important. And that's something I'm very aware of.
But here's the twist. Those comments didn't just draw applause. They reignited simmering tensions about race, recognition, and opportunity within the league.
Now, some conservatives are accusing her of, quote, bowing to the woke mob, unquote, for acknowledging her privilege.
Some players praised her honesty, while others, including outspoken critics, felt it was a reminder of how much work still needs to be done.
I'm struggling.
There's nothing to be triggered, and this is not the first time that she has acknowledged the people whose shoulders she has stood upon. I mean, the WNBA is a very young league. It's only 25 years old, and I'm on the board of the WNBA Board of Advocates. It's over 80% black, because white viewers have grown 156% year over year and 301% on ESPN networks. That matters not only for the white players, but for the black players too. Everyone wins.
Because they're always triggered. They're just, find a subject, what's the trigger du jour?
Stephen A. Smith, never one to shy away from controversy, weighed in. On his podcast, he passionately defended Clark, arguing that the backlash she received wasn't just misplaced, but downright unfair. He said,
"It was sisters resentful of her. Be resentful of the system. Be resentful of the folks, primarily the white folks, who basically disenfranchised y'all all of these years before she came along, who denied you the acclaim and the allure and the profits you richly deserved. But you don't take that out on Caitlin Clark. Not her."
Smith's argument boiled down to this: Clark wasn't the problem. If anything, she was trying to help solve it. Her presence in the league, combined with her willingness to acknowledge privilege, was a step toward progress. But the pushback she received highlighted how deeply rooted some frustrations still are. To understand why Clark's comments carried so much weight, you need to look at the history of the WNBA. For years, players have fought for better pay, more media coverage, and improved working conditions. They've marched, protested, and spoken out, often with little to show for it. However, Clark's arrival coincided with one of the most significant changes in the league's history: the introduction of charter flights. For over 2 decades, WNBA teams flew commercial, a reality that players like Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi had called out for years. But within weeks of Clark's rookie season, charter flights became a reality.
Because when she came into the WNBA, for 22 plus years, they had been flying commercial. They were begging for chartered flights. She arrives there, and 2 weeks later, they got chartered flights.
While it wasn't directly because of her, many attributed the sudden shift to the massive attention she brought to the league. Therefore, when critics accused Clark of benefiting from a system that had long ignored black players, it wasn't entirely surprising. But Smith's counterpoint was clear: blaming Clark wasn't the answer. He drew parallels to the civil rights movement, saying,
"When black folks was marching during the civil rights era and fighting every battle they possibly could, they weren't dismissive, nor did they insist in denigrating the white people who marched with them. They saved the venom for those who wouldn't. You don't run away from people who support you. You run to them, especially when they're in a better position than you to help you."
But the criticism Clark faced wasn't just about her comments. It was about what she symbolized. To some, she represented a system that only started to pay attention when a white player became the face of the league.
Look, I loved her answer. I have no idea, barely know what a basketball looks like, but I loved her answer because she's not letting these folks who want to turn her into some sort of racial avatar define her. She defines herself, and she said, "I am very good at tuning out the noise." She wants to play basketball, which she obviously does in an excellent manner, has broken all sorts of records. If anybody else was recognizing pioneers of their industry who toiled away for 25 years with basically little recognition and very little pay, and she is acknowledging them, seeing them, respecting them, and thanking them, where is the controversy? Let's call gratitude.
To others, she was proof that change was finally happening. This duality is what makes her story so compelling and so divisive. As the conversation around Clark's comments grew, other players began to weigh in. Some, like Nafisa Collier, spoke out in support of Clark. praising her for using her platform to bring attention to important issues. Collier said, "We need more people like Caitlin who are willing to have uncomfortable conversations. That's how progress happens." But others were more critical. One anonymous player reportedly said, "It's easy to talk about privilege when you're the one benefiting from it. Let's see her talk about equity when it comes to paychecks." This tension between gratitude and frustration is what makes Clark's situation so unique. On one hand, she's a trailblazer, breaking barriers and elevating the league in ways few thought possible. But on the other hand, her success serves as a stark reminder of how far the league still has to go. And here's the part you've been waiting for, the shocking truth about Caitlin Clark's impact on the WNBA. Despite the criticism, Clark has continued to use her platform to push for change. She's met with league officials to discuss pay equity. She's collaborated with other players on initiatives to highlight the contributions of Black athletes. And most importantly, she's refused to back down. Stephen A. Smith summed it up best when he said,
"A rising tide lifts all boats. She's trying to be the rising tide that lifts the boats." But it still seems like people are slow rolling their way to a form of progressive thinking that enables them to appreciate the Caitlin Clarks of the world instead of resenting her.
Whether you agree with her or not, there's no denying that Clark has forced the WNBA to confront some uncomfortable truths about race, privilege, and progress. But here's the cliffhanger. Will Clark's efforts lead to lasting change, or will the league continue to grapple with the same issues it has faced for decades? Only time will tell. What we do know is this: the conversation has started, and it's not going away anytime soon.
They say legends never die, but what happens when the next generation rises to challenge them? Caitlin Clark isn't just rewriting the WNBA's record books. She's redefining the very foundation built by icons like Sheryl Swoopes. But here's the kicker. This isn't just about stats or accolades. This is personal. With every clutch three-pointer and every jaw-dropping assist, Clark is making her mark on the legacy of a Hall of Famer. The battle brewing between these two basketball titans is about to explode. Stick around, because what we're about to reveal might change how you view the greatest players in WNBA history. Sheryl Swoopes is a name that commands respect in women's basketball. A three-time WNBA MVP, four-time champion, and one of the original faces of the league, Swoopes set a standard of excellence that seemed untouchable. Her defensive tenacity, leadership, and ability to dominate on both ends of the court made her a living legend. For years, no one came close to threatening her legacy until now. Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA with a storm of hype, and she has lived up to every bit of it. But Clark isn't just chasing records, she's redefining what it means to be a superstar in this league. Clark's rookie season was nothing short of spectacular. From breaking scoring records to becoming a viral sensation for her no-look passes and half-court shots, she's a marketing dream and a nightmare for her opponents. The WNBA has never seen a player quite like her, and fans can't get enough. What makes this rivalry with Swoopes so compelling is the generational clash it represents. Swoopes recently made comments that many interpreted as a subtle jab at Clark, questioning whether her flashy style is beneficial for the game. "Basketball isn't just about scoring," Swoopes said in a controversial interview. "It's about defense, teamwork, and fundamentals, things this new generation seems to forget." Clark didn't hold back when asked about Swoopes' remarks. In a post-game press conference, she responded confidently, "I've got nothing but respect for Sheryl and what she did for the game. But let's be real, this is a new era. Fans don't come to see fundamentals, they come to see the game evolve, and I'm here to evolve it." Social media exploded as fans took sides, with some defending Swoopes' old-school mentality and others rallying behind Clark's modern, electrifying approach. The debate quickly turned into a full-blown rivalry, even though these two have never shared the court. Let's break down the numbers. Sheryl Swoopes' career scoring average, 15.0 points per game, 4 WNBA titles, 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards. Caitlin Clark, rookie year, Scoring averaged 27.8 points per game, 8.9 assists per game, multiple 50-point games. Clark's offensive output is already impressive, but critics argue that her defense doesn't compare to Swoops' lockdown ability. However, Clark's fans contend that the modern game prioritizes offensive versatility, and Clark embodies that as an ultimate weapon. This rivalry isn't just about basketball, it's a cultural clash between two eras. Swoops represents the pioneers who fought to establish the WNBA and pave the way for players like Clark. She embodies hard work, grit, and humility. Meanwhile, Clark symbolizes the new wave, players who embrace the spotlight, leverage social media, and bring a level of entertainment that transcends the game itself. This has sparked deeper conversations about how the WNBA is evolving. Some argue that players like Clark are exactly what the league needs to grow, while others fear that the sport's fundamentals are being overshadowed by individualism and flashiness. The tension between Clark and Swoops reached a boiling point when both were announced as keynote speakers for an upcoming WNBA Legends and Rising Stars event. Insiders claim that both women are preparing to address the controversy head-on during the panel discussion. Leaked reports suggest that Clark plans to highlight her contributions to growing the league's viewership and engagement, while Swoops will defend the importance of respecting the game's roots. Fans are already speculating that this could turn into one of the most heated public debates in WNBA history. For Clark, this isn't just about proving her worth, it's about cementing her place as the future face of women's basketball. Every record she breaks and every highlight she creates chips away at the pedestal Swoops has stood on for decades. For Swoops, this is about legacy. She has already seen some of her records fall, and Clark is on pace to take even more. But the real battle is over respect. Swoops has hinted that she feels the new generation doesn't fully appreciate what players like her sacrifice to build the league. So where does this all lead? Will Caitlin Clark's dominance completely overshadow Sheryl Swoops' legacy? Or will the basketball icon find a way to remind everyone why she remains a standard for greatness? The stage is set, the players are ready, and the stakes couldn't be higher. One thing's for sure, this isn't just a battle for stats. It's a battle for the soul of the WNBA. When a rookie takes on a coaching legend, the results can be groundbreaking or explosive. Caitlin Clark isn't just the WNBA's hottest young star. She's rewriting the rules of the game. But Cheryl Reeve, a four-time WNBA champion coach, isn't going down quietly. Their rivalry has turned into a heated chess match, with Reeve questioning Clark's style and Clark silencing critics with her performance. Now the tension has reached a boiling point. Is this the moment Caitlin Clark ends Reeve's reign for good? You're about to find out. Cheryl Reeve has long been one of the WNBA's most respected figures. As head coach of the Minnesota Lynx, she has built a dynasty, winning 4 championships and earning Coach of the Year honors 4 times: 2011, 2016, 2020, 2024. Reeve is known for her no-nonsense approach, defensive schemes, and ability to get the best out of her players. Recently, she was named both WNBA Coach of the Year and Basketball Executive of the Year for 2024 after leading the Lynx to a franchise record 30 wins in a season 26. However, this season, her dominance has been challenged by the rise of Caitlin Clark. Reeve's teams have always excelled at shutting down opposing players, but Clark's ability to score from anywhere on the court has disrupted Reeve's defensive strategies. From the moment Caitlin Clark stepped onto the WNBA stage, she became a household name. Her three-point range is exceptional, her court vision impressive, and her ability to perform in clutch moments has made her a fan favorite. In her first matchup against Reeve's Lynx, Clark scored 35 points, recorded 10 assists, and grabbed 7 rebounds, showcasing her talent against a defense that Reeve is known for 13. After that game, Reeve expressed frustration, stating, "We knew what she was capable of, and we still couldn't stop her. That's on us." This frustration reflects a growing narrative that Clark represents a changing of the guard in the WNBA. While Reeve advocates for team-first basketball, Clark's individual brilliance seems to be shifting the league's focus. When asked about Clark's style, Reeve remarked, "The game isn't about one player. It's about how a team executes together. That's what wins championships." In response, Clark asserted, I don't think putting up 10 assists a game is selfish. If people want to call that me-first basketball, that's on them. Statistically, Clark's rookie season has been historic. 29.4 points per game, league leading. 9.2 assists per game, multiple triple-doubles. Meanwhile, the Lynx have struggled with injuries and inconsistency this season. Critics are starting to question whether Reeves' old-school approach is losing effectiveness in a rapidly evolving league. At its core, this rivalry transcends basketball. It represents a clash of philosophies. Reeves symbolizes disciplined, defense-first basketball that values execution over flash. In contrast, Clark embodies high-scoring, fast-paced play that thrives on creativity and individual talent. Their most recent matchup was one for the ages. So the Lynx entered with a clear plan: stop Clark at all costs. They employed double teams and physical play against her. However, Clark responded with an outstanding performance. 40 points, 12 assists, and a decisive three-pointer from long range to secure victory. After the final buzzer, Reeves' frustration boiled over in her post-game press conference. "We tried everything. She's an incredible talent, but we need to be better." Meanwhile, Clark declared, "They can keep trying to stop me, but I'm not going anywhere. This is my time." This rivalry has become personal with higher stakes than ever. For Reeves, it's about proving that her system still works in an evolving league. For Clark, it's about solidifying her status as the face of the WNBA. Rumors are swirling that their next matchup could impact playoff positioning significantly. Beyond their personal rivalry, this battle highlights a larger shift in the WNBA landscape. Players like Clark are bringing unprecedented attention and viewership to the league. However, traditionalists worry that an emphasis on individual stars may overshadow team-oriented play. As one of the league's longest-tenured coaches, Reeves has become synonymous with this resistance to change. Yet Clark's ability to dominate while involving teammates challenges that narrative. So is this the moment Caitlin Clark ends Cheryl Reeves' reign for good? Or does the veteran coach have one last trick up her sleeve to remind everyone why she is one of the greatest minds in WNBA history? Their next showdown promises to be an ultimate test of old-school grit versus new-school flash. And insiders suggest this rivalry is far from over. What happens next could redefine the WNBA forever. This version corrects factual inaccuracies regarding statistics and achievements while enhancing clarity and flow throughout your narrative.